Yo, this is Real Talk E. Welcome to the locker room. We talk nothing but basketball. If you want to be part of the locker room, you obviously have to be part of the team. In order for you to be part of the team, you have to subscribe. So subscribe and share the video to not only be part of the team and the locker room, but to also be a part of our daily basketball conversations so that you don't miss nights of basketball like this. Now, yesterday we had two amazing playoff games last night. We had the Warriors go up against the Kings, Lakers go up against the Grizzlies. One of them led into a game 7. The other one ended the whole series. Let's go ahead and get started with our Lakers and Grizzlies game of last night. The game starts, and before the game starts, honestly, I'm expecting the Grizzlies to come out firing in all cylinders. I'm expecting the Grizzlies to really come out and ball out. They're not trying to lose in the first round. They're not trying to be upset. You know, we're going to have the 7th seed upset the 2nd seed. And then on top of that, they've been talking a lot all year. This team has been talking and saying the most and doing the most on the internet more than any other team. And they come out first quarter and they get outscored by like 15 points in the first quarter. Lakers put up like 31 to 35, and then the Grizzlies come on. They only put up 20 points. But again, it's the first quarter, so I'm expecting them to still come out in the second, go crazy, make this a 7-point lead, cut it down to 7-5, something like that, probably even tie it. They come out in the second quarter even worse. The Lakers end up going up like 50 something to like 30 something or 40 something. Like the Grizzlies could not score at all. Third quarter comes, I'm like, okay, it's the second half. There's no way they're gonna come out and not perform in the second half. Like, there's no way they're gonna come out like soft like the way they've been playing. There's no way the defense is gonna be this terrible. There's no way the offense is gonna be this terrible. Something has to click in the second half. I mean, they're 24 minutes away from elimination, and they come out in the second half and they just pee the bed. It was terrible. They go down by 31 points in the third quarter, and the game seemed like it was over before the quarter was over. Like, the Grizzlies seemed like they had no hope whatsoever. Like, at all. The players were playing like they did not care anymore. Like, they just accepted defeat. You got Desmond Bane, who took 2 back-to-back deep threes, expecting them to go in, expecting to be that hero. Like, no, you're not Steph Curry. It's not going to happen. Just because you take 2 deep threes, whether they go in or not, they're not going to happen. It's not going to, just change the whole tempo of the game. Not last night. Because the way LeBron James and Anthony Davis and D'Angelo Russell were playing yesterday, there was no stopping that at all. Fourth quarter comes, and honestly, they're already up by like 31 to 35 points. Lakers don't even need to play their starters. I mean, LeBron, AD did not touch the court the entire fourth quarter at all. The Grizzlies still had their, bench and, like their backups in, and the Lakers went up by 40 points. It was a 40-point defeat. I mean, this felt like it was worse than the Suns losing to the Mavericks. And why I say that, even though that one was more embarrassing, because if you watch this game, it's like the Grizzlies just accepted defeat. At least the Suns in the second half came out and tried to cut the 40-point lead into 25, something like that, 20, 30. The Grizzlies did not even try. It got worse and worse and worse. The more their starters were in the game, the worse the deficit got. And honestly, all of this is because of Anthony Davis. I give Anthony Davis a lot of criticism. I speak a lot about AD. I even called him Disabled Davis. We all called him, Bubble Davis. We have so many nicknames that, basically go for the definition of him not being a great player or him not being reliable or anything of that sort. But yesterday, he was the complete opposite of that. He came out dominant. By the end of the first half, I think, in the third quarter, he had only took 8 shots. But he already had a double-double in the first half. He ends the first half with 11 and 10. He was rebounding. He was everywhere on defense. He was getting blocks. He had 4 or 5 blocks yesterday. He had 26 blocks this entire series. He was, yesterday alone, he was going out for double teams. He was playing one-on-one. He was switching on to guards. He was holding his own everywhere. And he was dominant. He was diving 50-50 balls. He was hustling. He was doing so much that allowed the Lakers to really perform. His defense was so important yesterday because every time the Grizzlies tried to get into the paint, they had to think because AD was there. Every single time. And whether he blocked the shot or he just stood there with his hand up, he somehow, some way affected the shot and stopped it from going in a lot of times. And then because of that, the Lakers hold the Grizzlies to only 85 points in an elimination game that took place in the playoffs. This is not a regular season game. And even if it was a regular season game, the last time we've seen a team be held to 85 points was like the Milwaukee Bucks when they were in the playoffs last year, and they were holding the Nets to like 80 points, but they were also only putting up like 85, 84. The defense was just great that year. Now, like yesterday, it's like the Lakers were just super dominant. And if the Lakers continue to play like this, and if Anthony Davis comes out like this again, it's over for the league. The Lakers are winning a championship. I feel like this will be the first 7th seed to ever win a championship. There's no. How do you stop that? You have LeBron James, who is having some of his best games of his career right now. The man just had a 20-20 game a couple games ago. Never had one his entire career. He's 38. Anthony Davis came out yesterday and had a double-double and had like 5-6 blocks. How do you stop that? Like, how do you get like in front of that, and then how do you score on that? You literally can't. And then D'Angelo Russell, right? When the Grizzlies started cutting it to 18, they cut it to 15. At this point, the Lakers are only up by 20. So at any given moment, all it takes is one run and it's a game again. D'Lo comes out, hits a 3. Now, this is the beginning of the third quarter. At this point, the Lakers have missed their last 8 threes. D'Angelo Russell comes out and hits a 3. Boom, next possession. Back to D'Lo. Hits another 3. Next possession. They give it to Jerry Vanderbilt. And he hits a 3. And then everybody's hugging him or whatever. And I told every Laker fan, I told everybody when first got Jerry Vanderbilt, Lakers fans are going to love Jerry Vanderbilt. Because he does everything. He does all the little stuff. But then he can hit shots whenever you need him. And yesterday he delivered. He could pass. He could defend. He could rebound. He could just hustle. He could dive for 50-50s. He could do literally anything you want him to do. Anything you need from him, anything you ask him to do, he's going to do it. And yes, there was another example of that. And for John Morant, this is really, really terrible. A terrible loss for him. Because he was a person that said he has nobody to fear in the West or in the East. He said the only team that they have to fear is the Celtics. Well, the Celtics just struggled to beat the Hawks, who was a playing team at like really not even supposed to be a 7 seed. They were supposed to be like an 8-9 seed. But the Celtics struggled to beat them, right? And then the Grizzlies lose to the Lakers in Game 6 and get upset. So how do you only fear the team that is struggling to beat a whack Hawks team and you're losing to a 7th seed? That makes no sense. And that's what happens when you just come out here talking, getting cocky in the middle of the season. There was no reason for him to open his mouth and say he doesn't fear anybody in the West. You still have the Warriors, you have the Kings, you have the Nuggets, you have the Suns with KD. At the time they didn't have KD, but eventually they got him. But you still had the Suns, you had the Lakers with LeBron and Anthony Davis. It does not matter if they're 13, 15, 14. If they somehow manage to make it into the playoffs, they're not losing the first round, bro. I'm sorry. It's not happening. LeBron lost the first round one time his entire career. One time. And that was 2 years ago against the Suns. That is not happening again. And then Dylan Brooks, it made it even worse for the Grizzlies. Came out and said, we don't fear him. There's nothing to fear. He's too old. He's too old. The man came out, dropped 20-20 on y'all. None of you guys could guard him. Yesterday, he was taking it to Dylan Brooks anytime he wanted. He had Dylan Brooks spinning, turning. He was hitting spins on like off of Dylan Brooks, hitting shots and ones. AD was attacking whoever was trying to guard him, whoever was trying to protect the basket. AD was just going at them. So if you guys can't guard AD, you can't guard LeBron, how are you going to come out here and say he's too old? Like, the Grizzlies just talk. Like, they just talk to talk. It's so, like, embarrassing to see. You was doing all this talking. You was doing, all this back and forth. Basically, really just with yourself. And you had the most craziest things to say about LeBron, about Draymond Green, about the Warriors. You can't even make it to face the Warriors. You got bounced out in the first round as a second seed. All that you was doing in the regular season was for what? All those games, all those technicals, all those flagrant fouls, you realizing you can't guard anybody, start punching them in their nuts, and now you're out of the playoffs. Should be a lesson for next season. I think all the Grizzlies should come back next season. Just shut the hell up. Shut your mouth. Just play and see where it takes you. Just play hard, play together, and shut up. Because all that talking is not taking you nowhere. This is 2 years in a row where they literally get nowhere. Last year, they faced the Timberwolves, which was an unexperienced team just like them. And then when they get to the Warriors, they're gone. They lose that series. And they're out here hitting people in the side of the head and all this extra stuff. And then this year, they're out in the first round to a 7th seed. They're going up against LeBron, AD, D'Lo, and then Austin Reeves pretty much just put them away. Just, wrapped them up in the blanket. Just tucked them in, put them to sleep. Had a couple of plays at the end of the third quarter. Basically just put the dagger in and then, put the nail in the coffin, and it was over. It was a couple of shots he made, a layup, and, the Grizzlies tried to call a couple of timeouts. It's just not going to happen. It just was not happening yesterday. LeBron had a terrible, terrible Game 5. And that's how the Grizzlies won. And I said it. LeBron, that was his worst game ever in the playoffs. It's not happening again. Ever again. And yesterday he came out and he proved it. It's never happening again. He showed up. He showed out. And not only that, the Lakers finally got 2 great games from LeBron and Anthony Davis. And this is just, I'm telling you, nobody is stopping them. If they go up against the Nuggets, they could guard Nuggets, but the Nuggets cannot guard them. If they go up against the Suns, they could guard the Suns, but the Suns cannot guard the Lakers. If they're playing obviously like yesterday, if their defense is like yesterday, if their offense is like yesterday, they're beating any team in the West. And really, their only problem will be the East if they face the Celtics. If they face any other team besides the Celtics, they're winning. It's going to be an easy run to a championship. It's going to be an easy run to the finals. And LeBron's going to win another one. And if the Warriors make it out of the Kings game, which, let's start off with that. We had the Kings go up against the Warriors last night. And this game was another breakdown from the Warriors. Just like the Grizzlies, they came out terrible. They looked like they didn't even want to play. They looked like they did not want this game. They did not care about this game. First quarter, they're up by like 2 points. And then after that, it was just over. Like, the Kings just took over. They were just outscoring them. They were actually playing defense. They were holding them, to like 99 points they held them to. And the Kings put up 118. Like, for the Kings to come out and really play defense against you, that just shows you that you have a lot going on that's terrible. You need to fix a lot of things. Jordan Poole is a starter now, right? He's no longer coming off the bench. He's starting for the one reason that Steve Curry wants more scoring to compete with the Kings. So if Steph Curry is giving you like 28, 29, 30 points, Klay Thompson had like 20 points. He went quiet in the second half, but he had like 22 points to end the game. Why in the world is Jordan Poole only having 7 points? You're not defending anybody. You're not doing any, like, too much of the passing. Why are you only having 7 points? And why are you only going 2 for 11? Shooting. Your main job and your only job is to score. That's it. Just shoot threes and get to the basket. Literally just score. That's your only job. That's all you're good for. It's all they ask you to do. And you got paid like $140 million to do that. Why are you coming out only having 7 points? what is the point of starting you? Because at that point, we might as well start Draymond Green. Because he's going to give you 7 points too, but he's also going to give you defense. He's going to give you rebounding. He's going to give you double-digit assists. You're not doing any of that. So why are you only having 7 points? You're supposed to be the one that steps up when Klay and Steph can't do anything. Because Steph is carrying the whole team like he's always been this entire season and the last season. And he's going to have bad games. And he's also going to be guarded heavily out of anybody on that court. Klay is not like 100% yet. He's like 95%, 90% there. You know, at the end of the day, he suffered 2 injuries. It's going to take him a long time. Like, I'm sorry. I know we're like 2 years, a year and a half after his injury, after he came back, and we're still saying this. But yes, I'm telling you right now, it's going to take him a long time. Next season, he'll probably be fine. He's way better, but he's going to have halves where he can't do anything in terms of scoring, shooting, and he's also playing defense. Now, what is Jordan Poole doing? First half, second half, first quarter, fourth quarter, does not matter. Your job is to purely just score. Shoot, get to the basket, do all that dribbling, cute stuff that you be doing to cross people over, whatever. Go do that. Get to the free throw line. Do that. Because 7 points is not going to do it, buddy. It's not going to cut it. Andrew Wiggins had like 13 points, 7 rebounds. And then, ironically enough, Kevon Looney had like 7 points, 13 rebounds. But the Warriors just couldn't do anything, honestly. It was 99 to 118. They looked like they didn't even want to play. Their defense was atrocious. It was horrible. This was at home, by the way. So, terrible from them. This is the game they're supposed to come and close it out. But we have a Game 7 tomorrow on Sunday. No, we haven't had a Game 7 in this first round at all. So, for us to have our first Game 7, and it's these 2 teams, I hope it's amazing. I hope it's close. I hope we get super clutch buckets being made in the last 5 minutes of the game by Steph or Fox. Anybody, really, but those 2 players are the ones I really want to see it from. But anyways, yeah, that's enough of me rambling. Chat, it's time for y'all. Let me know what y'all think down below. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. This is Real Talk Ian. It's time to leave the locker room. I'm going to catch y'all. Safety.
Irving puts it up. It's good. Kyrie Irving from downtown.
The officials have to review it. And the Lakers win the game. Banks it in. He banks in the 3.
To win it. Good. That's why he's NBA All-Defensive Team. Adebayo, sky high with the block and rejection.
This is for the win. Got it. Wow.
At 7, working against Butler, got down.